The Long Ballad is my next C-drama watch. It is starring Wu Lei, Leo Wu. I have been talking about how much I'm enjoying his projects, so I've been undertaking watching a lot more of his catalog. The Long Ballad definitely has a lot for me to talk about, and I have to talk about his magnificent braids, okay? Hi, I'm Monique. I'm the host of Off by Purple Heart podcast, where I talk to you about K-dramas, C-dramas, BTS, and whatever else I want to talk about. The Long Ballad is definitely something that I've heard about more than once in regards to Lei. I have been wanting to watch a lot more of his shows, and this one has been coming up a lot, but I have heard mixed reviews about it. So I decided to at least give the first episode a shot and then just go by that. If I felt really excited about it, I will do more eps. If I was kind of meh, then I might drop it in favor of something else. But I do really like Wu Lei, and I'm very biased towards him and his work because I just think he's just that damn good, and he's fine to look at, okay? But The Long Ballad, the first episode, just right off the bat, the scoring for this show is phenomenal. I absolutely love shows that are just feel really immersive. Some of the camera angles are a bit interesting, but the camera work for the most part, the cinematography is really lush. There is obviously a lot of money that was spent into this. Like, I feel like it had a very big budget, kind of like how Love, like the Galaxy, clearly looked expensive. Like, it's huge production. The Long Ballad also seems to have a really great production value as well. The music really gets you excited and pumped. I'm also really happy that there's other actors that I really enjoy that are in this project as well. I am someone that enjoys Zhao Lusi a lot, and I really loved her and adored her in Hidden Love. That kind of started my whole C-drama journey, and of course, Love Like the Galaxy, which I have talked about extensively on this podcast, along with her performance with Wu Lei as well. And I also see that Reba is in this show as well, and I've talked about previous show hers, You Are My Glory. So having three actors that I recognize that I really enjoy right off the cuff makes this project already favorable in my mind. The scoring's exciting, the cinematography's exciting, and the funny thing is, the main female lead, Chanji, is a very fun, sprightly character. Obviously, things are going to get very serious in the show very quickly. There's a lot of ominous, forbidding foreshadowing in the first episode. But I loved how they were able to take something like a game and just racket up the tension like tenfold. I'm probably going to be going into minor spoilers for The Long Ballad, but this show has aired like I think 3 or 4 years ago. So really, but listen at your own discretion. But I really enjoyed the female lead, Chanji, and I like that not only is she very spirited, I love that she also has a lot of knowledge in the art of fighting and the art of war. Just the way she carries herself, she has a beautiful, like, feminine flair. But she has that mischievousness to her as well. At least that's what I'm catching from the first episode. And she can hold her own. Like, I love that there was a scene with her uncle where they did have like a little fake tussle, and he wasn't holding back, and she was matching him, but he ended up winning anyways. And he basically was giving her a lesson, saying that I could really anticipate your moves already because you try almost too hard. Like, you really want to win. You got to be a lot more strategic and a lot more analytical in your attacks. You obviously have good technique, but you'll be bested if you don't just kind of see the forest before the trees kind of thing, you know what I mean? So I like that we already are presented with her kind of own story arc, which is going to be foreshadowing, I'm sure, for the many conflicts that her character is probably going to endure going forward in the show. I like her sisterly bond with Zhao Lusi's character as well. We got some interaction with them in this first episode that I thought was cute. And I don't know, I see Zhao Lusi, I hear her voice, I just feel happy, I just think she's cute. And I enjoyed their back and forth and them coming to the game together. Leo Wu's character is interesting enough. I'm kind of holding out judgment for his character. The one moment that I really liked about him and what he did, I will talk about in a bit. because that's going into like actual major spoilers. But I am still undecided about him, but I am biased because I like Hule so much. I know what he can do, and I know he can really bring it as far as the, the military type dramas, the historical events. He is always looking really like he fits into whatever period piece costuming they put him in. And I'm loving the braids. I'm telling you, his face card never declines, but the hair is also giving. I love the outfits. I love the aesthetic. But his character, to me, so far, other than just the cold aloofness of him, there's a few bright spots, but I need a little bit more time to warm up to his character. But as I said, because I'm biased towards Hule, I know, and I totally suspect that he's going to really bring it in this show. And I genuinely hope that the mixed reviews that I've heard about it, I hope that the ones that were more gearing towards the more negative are wrong in my further watch of the show, because I really enjoyed it. Now, getting into real spoilers, I had mentioned that there is a game that was played in this first episode, and it was pitched as something that's supposed to be like a friendly match, but what really it was like a political chess piece that was being advanced. And the entire styling of the game and how it was played, and how Chenji's character was able to disguise herself as a man, which I always love that trope, when a really fierce woman who's got a mischievousness to her, who's got bravery in her, will disguise herself as a man and just plunge herself right into the midst of battle, and that the quote-unquote love interest catches her eye, and they have that little charged tension. So this game brought that and then some. It's a real interaction that we first see with the female lead and the male lead for the shows, and it's very charged, and she's proficient, and she's able to win the game, and completely, like, almost like she wasn't even breaking a sweat, and she's like a princess, and I love that. And I love that, Wule's main lead character is not only suspicious, but he has no problem on just kind of looking down on her too, even though she clearly comes from royalty. And he was very suspicious of her during the game. Like, he didn't know for sure until that one moment where her mask slipped momentarily, and then she kind of got that little mischievous look in her eyes and readjusted, and he was like, "Oh, okay, game on. You think you're slick, huh?" And as tough as the other opponents were, she and her team end up winning anyways. But he, while was low-key impressed with her, he wasn't going to show that. And what he was really doing was he was just observing in general the strengths and weaknesses of this army that was playing in this game, and just the cold, kind of calculated aloofness of how he kind of is dismissive towards her. I like that it's kind of gearing up towards an enemies to lovers type plot line. I love enemies to lovers when it's done correctly. Most times in both book form and in live action or in movies, television, it's just it's give or take. Like, oftentimes they just don't get it right. They don't get that tension right. But it looks like the show wants to shape it up as an enemies to lovers, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with them not being enamored with one another right off the bat, and that through just their skills and proficiency, and through strategy, and through, I'm guessing, force proximity, through the wartime that's obviously looming over the entire storyline of the show, and there's going to obviously be some political backstabbing. There's some foreshadowing that's already happening. There's some chess pieces being moved. My girl Shalosa and her character look like she might be married off to a very sketchy individual, so I'm kind of hoping I'm reading that wrong. I love Shalosa, and I like her character so far, and she just seems like a sweet bean, and I don't know if I want to see her be tortured or go through some shit, but I don't know, the show's kind of giving me the foreshadowing vibes, and it's kind of looking dicey, but it's very interesting. The music really rackets up the tension. I cannot say more than enough that the music really brought me in the first episode. Like, those 40 plus minutes like went by in a breeze. Like, it was really surprising how engaging I thought the first episode was. Even like the inclusion of the illustration panels during the first act of the show as well, I thought was really fascinating. I liked it. I liked the transition from the illustration to the live action. I don't know if they're going to continue to lean into that as the show progresses. We'll wait and see, but I'm really impressed with the Long Ballad so far, and I genuinely hope as I continue, it continues to have this same level of urgency and excitement that I got from the first episode, which is what I want. I enjoy slow burns. I have cataloged many shows that have a slow burn energy to them as well, but when I'm dealing with specifically historical shows, historical dramas, doesn't even have to be in C-drama, could be K-drama as well, or whatever medium from whatever region. I find with historical, I need it to be really gripping and engaging right off the bat. There's got to be some action to pull me in from the first episode, because it's not always my favorite genre to dabble in. And a lot of them I feel like are just almost too slow, and they're too bogged down with dialogue heavy scenes, and it's taking too long to set up the players in motion. Whereas this show, at least in the first episode, felt really fast paced, and the characters were dynamic, and I love that the female lead is dynamic right off the bat. And I adore the trope of women disguising themselves as men in a potentially hostile environment and still coming out victorious, and that the male lead is enamored but can't show it, but they're secretly enamored, they're secretly interested, and I love that vibe. So I was really, really happy with the first episode. So I'm going to continue watching the Long Ballad for sure. And I want to just see how the performances continue to rack it up. And I want to see more of what Leo Wu can do in this. I know he can bring it in historical pieces. He is a phenomenal actor, and he's also really nice to look at. So there's that. And I love the characters that we've been introduced so far. And I'm just happy to see Zhao Lusi again. So there's that too. And I really do like Dilraba as well. I think she was very enchanting in You're My Glory. Her voice is so interesting to me as well. Like her voice almost has like a dubbed quality. And I don't mean that like in an insulting way, but her voice is very interesting. It takes some getting used to, but I like her comportment. I like how she is presented in this drama so far. I like her. I like her energy. I like the character Chanji, and I'm really interested in more. So hopefully you guys will come on that journey with me for the Long Ballad, and for my next podcast, I'll probably be diving into it a lot more, because I'm definitely going to watch more additional follow-up episodes. So that's it for the podcast for today. Thank you for joining me. If you are watching via YouTube, put your commentary down below if you would like. Have you watched the Long Ballad? Do you agree with my assessment that there was a lot of mixed reviews for it? Or do you agree that this show was really well received for the most part? I don't think it's put on the same level as Love Like the Galaxy. Obviously, that's a huge juggernaut of a show that also had crazy production value. But I feel like the show was highly regarded as well. But I have heard more than once that the show kind of loses its footing somewhere along the lines. And I kind of hope for my own viewing pleasure that doesn't happen, that I'm enthralled all the way, because it seems really promising. If you're listening via Spotify or Apple Podcasts as well, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And till the next episode, I got so much more to talk about. There's a new BL that I've watched. Lovely Runner is still airing, and that show is getting really, really on my nerves, because there's just so much tension in it that it's anxiety inducing. And there's some other C-dramas that I want to cover as well. So there's still a lot to come. So look forward to it. All right. Have a good day, good evening, wherever you are. Bye.